In the relentless hum of the digital age, amidst the endless scroll and the constant demand for our attention, do you ever feel like a ship tossed on a chaotic sea? We are flooded with information, burdened by expectation, and pulled in 1,000 different directions. The promise of constant connection has, for many, led to a profound sense of disconnection from our own inner peace. We seek stability in a world that is defined by its instability. But what if you could build a fortress within your own soul? An unbreachable citadel of calm and resilience. A place of profound strength that remains untouched by the storms of the external world. What if the key to this inner peace wasn't found in changing the world around you, but in forging a new relationship with it? This is the promise of Stoicism. Not a philosophy of grim, emotionless endurance, but a practical, life-affirming operating system for the human mind. For over 2 millennia, the wisdom of thinkers like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright and political advisor Seneca, and the former slave-turned-revered teacher Epictetus has provided a blueprint for navigating the complexities of the human condition. They taught that while we cannot control the events that befall us, we have absolute dominion over our response to them. This is the source of all human freedom and tranquility. In this journey together, we will explore 10 foundational lessons from Stoicism. These are not mere intellectual curiosities. They are tools, ready to be sharpened and used. They're the architectural plans for your inner citadel. Join us as we unlock the ancient wisdom that can empower you to achieve mastery over your emotions and cultivate an unshakable sense of inner peace in the heart of the modern world. Lesson 1. Focus only on what you control. Our first lesson is the very bedrock of the Stoic edifice, the master key that unlocks all other doors. It comes to us most clearly from Epictetus, who began his famous handbook with this radical declaration: some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. It sounds simple, almost childishly so. Yet, within this simple dichotomy lies the secret to eliminating a vast majority of our anxiety and frustration. Imagine you are the keeper of a lighthouse, standing on a rocky outcrop. Your domain is the lighthouse itself. You are responsible for the lamp, ensuring its light is brilliant and steady. You polish the lens, maintain the machinery, and keep the interior orderly. This is your sphere of control, your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your character. Outside, a ferocious storm rages. The wind howls, the waves crash against the rocks with thunderous force, and the rain lashes down. This storm represents everything outside of your control. The economy, the opinions of others, traffic, illness, even the weather itself. The Stoics argue that the fundamental error of a troubled mind is to leave the lighthouse and try to command the storm. We exhaust ourselves shouting at the waves, cursing the wind, and trying to hold back the tide. It is an act of insanity, and it is the source of our suffering. The Stoic sage, the wise lighthouse keeper, does not waste energy on the storm. They accept its presence as a reality of nature. Their focus is entirely on their duty to keep the light shining. By focusing our energy exclusively on our own actions and character, being a good parent, an honest employee, a loyal friend, a disciplined individual, we find our power. The storm may rage, ships may be tossed, but our light, our virtue, remains a steady, guiding beacon. So, the next time you feel the grip of anxiety, ask yourself this powerful question: is this inside my lighthouse, or is this part of the storm? If it is the storm, acknowledge it and turn your attention back to tending your light. This single shift in perspective is the first and most crucial step toward tranquility. Lesson 2. Love and accept your fate. Once we understand what we can and cannot control, Stoicism presents us with an even more profound and challenging lesson: the art of loving and accepting your fate. This isn't passive resignation. It is an active, joyful embrace of reality in its entirety. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal, advised himself to accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This goes beyond merely tolerating what happens. It is the practice of loving it. Imagine a master sculptor given a block of marble. The marble has certain properties: veins, faults, a particular grain, and hardness. The sculptor may have wished for a different block, one with fewer imperfections or a more pleasing color. But to waste time lamenting the nature of the stone is to abandon the craft. The master sculptor doesn't fight the stone, they study it. They learn its character. They see the so-called faults not as flaws, but as unique features to be incorporated into the final masterpiece. The very vein that could be seen as an imperfection becomes the defining line of a powerful muscle or the gentle curve of a rope. This is what it means to love your fate. Life gives us our block of marble. It is our past, our circumstances, our genetic makeup, our challenges, our triumphs. We can spend our lives wishing for a different block, or we can pick up our chisel and get to work, learning to love the unique properties of the stone we've been given. A difficult diagnosis is not something to be merely endured, but an opportunity to cultivate courage. A betrayal is not just a wound, but a chance to practice forgiveness and learn wisdom. A career setback is not an ending, but a forced redirection that may lead to your true calling. By embracing what is, we transmute it. We stop being victims of our story and become its authors. This practice requires immense courage, but its reward is the ultimate freedom, the ability to find benefit and beauty not just when things go our way, but in everything that happens. Lesson 3. The power of the present moment. In a world obsessed with future goals and haunted by past mistakes, the Stoics made a radical claim. The only time you truly possess is now. The past is a memory, the future a fantasy. Your entire life unfolds in a series of present moments. The Stoic discipline of paying attention to the present was a form of continuous, vigilant awareness of one's thoughts and actions. Seneca constantly reminded his correspondents that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Our minds are time machines, flinging us into anxious futures that may never happen, or replaying cringeworthy moments from a past we cannot change. This mental time travel robs us of our life, which is happening right here, right now. Think of a master watchmaker, hunched over their workbench. Their world is reduced to the infinitesimal gear they are placing, the tiny screw they are turning. Their focus is absolute. They are not thinking about the watch they finished yesterday, nor the one they will build tomorrow. Their entire being is dedicated to the present task. How can we practice this in our daily lives? It begins with simple sensory anchors. When you're drinking your morning coffee, don't scroll through your phone. Instead, fully experience the coffee. Feel the warmth of the mug. Inhale the rich aroma. Taste the complex flavors on your tongue. When you walk, feel the sensation of your feet on the ground, the air on your skin. When you speak with someone, truly listen. Don't formulate your reply while they are talking. Give them the gift of your complete attention. This is not about emptying your mind, but about filling it with the present reality. By anchoring ourselves in the now, we starve our anxieties of their fuel, the future, and our regrets of their home, the past. We find that in the present moment, even amidst difficulty, we usually have what we need to endure. Peace is not found in a perfect future, but in a fully inhabited present. Lesson 4. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Perhaps the most empowering and actionable lesson from Stoicism is the principle of turning adversity on its head. It's a form of mental alchemy where any obstacle, any setback, any piece of misfortune can be transformed from a barrier into a pathway forward. Marcus Aurelius gave this concept its most famous expression: The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is a revolutionary idea. It suggests that nothing is ever truly in your way, because the way is the way through. Imagine a raging river that has flooded the path you need to take. The non-Stoic mind sees the flood as a dead end. They curse their luck, they sit down in despair, or they turn back. The Stoic mind, however, sees the situation differently. The river, the obstacle, has now presented a new set of opportunities. The challenge is no longer how do I walk this path, but how do I cross this river? This might require building a raft, resourcefulness, finding a shallow crossing, patience, or seeking help from someone with a boat, humility. The obstacle of the river becomes the very thing that teaches and strengthens the traveler. This is the mindset we should aim for. When you're faced with a rude and aggressive colleague at work, the obstacle isn't the person. The obstacle is a chance to practice patience and professional detachment. When a project you've poured your heart into fails, the obstacle isn't the failure. It's a priceless lesson in what doesn't work, forcing you to innovate and improve. When you suffer an injury that prevents you from your usual physical activity, the obstacle is an opportunity to cultivate other parts of yourself, to read, to learn, to meditate. Every piece of lead that life throws at you can be transmuted into gold. It requires a shift in perception. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how can I use this? By adopting this mindset, you become anti-fragile. You don't just survive challenges, you're fed by them. You become stronger, wiser, and more capable with every obstacle you transform. Lesson 5. Master your perceptions. Stoicism teaches that it is never the event itself that causes us suffering, but our judgment, our perception of that event. Epictetus stated this bluntly. People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. There's a gap, a space between what happens and how we react. In that space lies our power and our freedom. Think of a seasoned airline pilot flying through severe turbulence. To the passengers in the cabin, the shaking and rattling of the plane is terrifying. Their perception is, we are in danger. We might crash. This judgment leads to fear, panic, and distress. The pilot, however, experiences the exact same physical event, the turbulence, but their perception is entirely different. They see it as a predictable, manageable weather pattern. Their judgment is, this is turbulence. I will apply my training, adjust my altitude, and fly through it. This perception leads to a calm, focused, and effective response. The event is the same. The perception is everything. Our daily lives are filled with emotional turbulence. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss criticizes your work. A friend forgets your birthday. The initial event is the stimulus. The automatic, unthinking reaction is to get angry, feel hurt, or become defensive. But the Stoic trains to widen that space between the stimulus and the response. When the stimulus occurs, instead of reacting immediately, you pause. You take a breath. In that space, you analyze your first impression. Is it true? Is this situation truly a catastrophe? Or is it merely an inconvenience? Is this criticism a personal attack? Or is it potentially useful feedback? Is this forgotten birthday a sign of disrespect? Or simply a friend who is overwhelmed and forgetful? By creating this buffer, you take back control. You choose your response instead of letting your response choose you. You can choose to see the driver who cut you off as a flawed human being in a rush, not a personal enemy. You can choose to see criticism as data, not as an indictment of your worth. You can choose to respond with understanding instead of anger. This is not suppression. It is emotional intelligence of the highest order. Mastering the space between is mastering yourself. Lesson 6. Practice voluntary discomfort. In a culture that relentlessly pursues comfort and convenience, Stoicism offers a powerful counterpractice. voluntary discomfort. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, advocated for periodically and intentionally embracing mild forms of hardship. This wasn't about self-punishment. It was a dual-purpose mental training regimen. Firstly, it serves as a vaccine against misfortune. By willingly choosing to be a little cold, a little hungry, or to sleep on the floor for a night, you're training your mind and body to endure. Seneca advised setting aside a few days each month to live on the barest of means, asking yourself, is this the condition that I so feared? You soon realize that you are far more resilient than you believe. When you've practiced being uncomfortable, the fear of future discomfort loses its power over you. You've faced a monster in a controlled environment, and you now know it's not so terrifying. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, voluntary discomfort is a powerful tool for building gratitude. The human mind is wired for adaptation. No matter how much we have, we quickly get used to it and take it for granted. The hot shower, the comfortable bed, the readily available food. These are miracles of modern life that we barely even register. Imagine you decide to take only cold showers for a week. It will be unpleasant at first, but on the 8th day, when you allow yourself to feel the glorious warmth of the hot water, the experience will be one of profound, almost spiritual pleasure and gratitude. You have reset your baseline for appreciation. By temporarily removing a comfort, you rediscover its true value. You can apply this in countless ways. Try fasting for a day and see how incredible that first meal tastes. Leave your phone at home for an afternoon and notice the richness of the world when you're not constantly distracted. Deliberately choose the harder path. Take the stairs, walk instead of drive, do a difficult task first. These small acts of self-imposed discipline build resilience, shatter your dependence on comfort, and flood your life with a renewed sense of gratitude for the simple things you once overlooked. Lesson 7. Make virtue your highest goal. At the absolute core of Stoic philosophy is a single, guiding purpose: to live a life of virtue. This means developing an excellent character and living up to your highest potential as a rational, social being. For the Stoics, things like wealth, health, and reputation were preferred indifference. It's nice to have them, but they have no bearing on your quality of life as a human being. The only true good is virtue. The 4 cardinal virtues of Stoicism are: 1. Wisdom, the ability to see the world clearly and navigate complex situations with logic and reason. 2. Justice, treating others with fairness, kindness, and respect, understanding our shared humanity. 3. Courage, facing challenges, pain, and adversity with fortitude, both physically and morally. 4. Temperance, practicing moderation, self-control, and balance in all things. Imagine you are the captain of a ship at sea. Your ultimate goal is not to reach a specific port, because storms or unforeseen currents might make that impossible. Your goal is to be an excellent captain. The virtues are your North Star. No matter how dark the night or how violent the sea, the North Star is always there, a fixed point of guidance. When you face a difficult decision, you don't ask, what will make me richest? Or what is the easiest option? You look to your North Star and ask, what is the wise thing to do? What is the just thing to do? What does courage demand of me? What is the temperate path? This means your self-worth is derived from your character, not your circumstances. If you act with virtue, if you're honest when it would be easier to lie, if you are brave when you feel afraid, if you are fair to someone who has been unfair to you, then you have succeeded regardless of the outcome. You could lose your job, your house, and your savings, but no one can ever take your virtue from you. It is the one possession that is entirely yours. This is an incredibly liberating idea. It anchors your life to an internal, unshakable foundation. External events become secondary. The primary aim of every day is simply to be a good person. In the pursuit of that goal, you will find a profound and durable sense of purpose and peace. Lesson 8. Contemplate your mortality to live better. In our modern world, death is often seen as a morbid, taboo subject, something to be ignored and denied until the very last moment. The Stoics took the opposite approach. They practiced a regular meditation on mortality, remembering that one day you will die. This was not a depressing or nihilistic exercise. For the Stoics, the awareness of death was the secret to living a vibrant, meaningful, and authentic life. It serves two critical functions. First, it creates a sense of urgency and priority. Imagine you are given a gift of 1,440 minutes at the start of each day. You can spend them however you wish, but you can never get them back. This is not a metaphor. It is our reality. When you're deeply aware that your time is finite and the clock is always ticking, you stop wasting it on trivialities. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Contemplating your own mortality is the ultimate filter for your decisions. Will you spend your precious, unrecoverable hours in pointless arguments, mindless entertainment, or holding on to grudges? Or will you spend them with people you love, working on things that matter, and experiencing the beauty of the world? This practice forces you to ask, if today were my last, is this how I would want to be spending my time? Second, it cultivates a deep appreciation for the present. The knowledge that everything is transient, your life, the lives of your loved ones, this very moment, infuses it with a poignant beauty. You stop taking things for granted. You hug your children a little tighter. You savor the conversation with a friend. You truly see the sunset. Like watching a beautiful sand mandala being created, you appreciate its intricate beauty all the more because you know it will not last forever.